Hey everyone, how's it going? Shuffle's back again for the second time in the same day. I know it's a rare sight with another video. Um, it takes a special occasion for me to post two videos in the same night, but apparently the balance patch notes have been released. I have not even opened them yet. All I saw is somebody in the Discord just posted a list of the people who were getting buffed. And based on what I saw, I had to jump online and make this video. Um, a lot of people have been waiting for the Landy Buffs. That is in here, which I know all be excited about. But there's some really good heroes that are already really good that are getting buffs. So let's just jump right into this. Again, I haven't seen what's happening yet. What is going to happen yet? But we will see. So we'll click on updates. We could do this in the browser, but we'll open it this way. It's fine. Man, I'm nervous because I have all the heroes I think that are getting buffed, but whenever they do balance changes, I'm always nervous. You never know, like what's gonna happen and how it's gonna change the game, especially late in an RTA season. I guess I should have gone to the right screen here first, but we're building suspense. This is just the way I planned it. I can see people in the Discord in the corner of my eye going crazy about these buffs. And luckily for me, nobody's actually said what's going to happen. So here we go. Balance adjustment preview. Goodness, goodness, goodness. All right. So here are the heroes. There are artifacts as well, but here are the heroes that are targeted. We'll start from the bottom, work our way up. Pearl Horizon. I think it's a good idea. Nobody's using her, so I think it's a good idea. She's getting a buff. Regular Maya is a weird one. That's the second or third time they've buffed her, unless it's crazy, which I doubt it is. She probably still won't get used. Now, the Landy Buffs we knew were coming. The three that we didn't see coming are three really strong heroes already. Cerese, who used regularly in top tier RTA, like almost everybody in the top 100 has her built and is using her. Maybe she's a little bit reactive, but people are already using her, so I don't really understand that. We're going to skip over that one. Sage Baal, who I use on a regular basis, I think he's already really good. I knew he was going to get a buff. It doesn't surprise me that he's getting one, but that one is scary. I'm really worried about what they're going to do with him. I have a few suggestions. Maybe we guess here. The two things I would do, one, I would make his skill 3 either the heal unconditional, he doesn't have to kill the heal, or I would increase the damage on his heal. And those are the only two things I would fix. I wouldn't touch anything else. So hopefully that's all they did. Otherwise, I think he's going to be busted OP. And I have two of them, so if he's busted OP, at least I have him. But man, that's a little scary. And LQC, really? LQC is like a meme about how strong she is and how she's one-shotting everybody. If you want to see my LQC, she's posted in the Discord. You're more than welcome to join the Discord. Let's jump right into the. Well, actually, first, let's take a look at what artifacts are getting changed. Really sad to not see a basket nerf on here. I was hoping they were going to balance basket, but apparently not. A Silver Rain, Andres Cospo, that's not bad. Although Andres Cospo, I think, is soul changing, which is a little scary. I don't even know what Noctis does. Bastion getting a buff is interesting. I think Bastion's already really good, and I think Guiding Light is already really good. Two artifacts that people already used. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little nervous about this. Do we want to go to the bottom or start at the top? Can we brush by this really quick and go to the bottom? Don't read it. Don't read it. Don't read it. We'll start with the 4-star artifacts, and we'll go up to the craziest stuff. All right, Silver Rain. Before, 100% chance to increase attack of a random ally, except for the caster. Yeah. Chance to increase attack of the ally, except for the caster with the highest attack. So that's way better. This is kind of similar to Cerese's buff, or sorry, Celine's buff that we just had. where she attacks the units with the highest attack. Silver Rain being able to give attack buff to the unit with the highest attack already. I honestly don't even remember. I don't know who this is for. I don't know what class this is for. I thought it was warriors, which would be weird. If it's for healers, though, it's not bad. You could put a healer there that also is now going to attack buff your damage dealer. That would be interesting. Crossbow removes 2 souls from the enemy and the caster attacks with single target attack. It's now 3 souls. It's a nice little buff. I don't know if that's the change it needed for people to use it, but removing 3 souls is always nice. Noctis increases attack of the caster by 2% when an ally makes a crit. Can stack up to 12 times. It's now going to double to 4% and then reduce to 8 times. So it goes up to 16%. Wait, no. It goes up to 32% instead of 24%, and it takes less time to stack. So that's a really nice buff for that. Is it still something you're going to use? I don't know. If you have to wait eight rotations, although I guess it could stack quickly if you're running something that crits already first, like if you're running like a Litica or something, maybe it could run well. But we'll have to see. Immunity, really. At the start of the battle, grants the ally with the highest attack a barrier equivalent to 30% of the caster's max health for 2 turns. Grants the ally with the highest attack immunity for 1 turn and a barrier. That's interesting. So if you know you're going to run Bastion, you don't necessarily need immunity on that unit. So if you have a unit without immunity that happens to have the highest attack, like the example I think of right away is the fact that my Spectre doesn't have immunity. And like I don't necessarily need her to, but in certain situations, being able to bring, say there's a debuffer that I know is going to go first, like a Dizzy or something, I could always, or even like an RB, if I know my Spectre's going to live, but I'm worried she's going to get blinded, even though she's going to live through turn 1. Maybe I bring in Bastion to auto give her immunity. That's very interesting. I kind of like that. And with the shield as well, she would definitely live. So cool interaction there. I like it. This one scares me because this one's really strong already. 70% chance to grant stealth for 2 turns, can be activated once per turn. At the start of battle, grant stealth for 1 turn. So, say for example, you have Guiding Light on your MLI's area, they're automatically in stealth, which means, so I use Guiding Light personally on my MLI's area. That's very important because say I get outsped by a Rylet or a Flurry, they can just eliminate her, right? She has no chance to go into stealth, she's just dead. Now, if she doesn't go first, she's automatically in stealth. And then at the end of the caster's turn, a 70% chance to grant stealth for 2 turns. Stealth granted at the end of the caster's turn can be activated once every 2 turns. I don't know why this is in green. That's a little weird. But anyway, the fact that it starts with stealth is really cool. I really like that. It's no, I don't think it's too much, but it's a fun little interaction on a good artifact. It's not too crazy. I like it. All right, who is this? This is Dollmaker Pearl. I'm not going to go over the regular Pearl stuff. If you want to see it, you can go over it yourself if you want to. So it looks like she got buffs to 2 different skills. We'll go over the Awaken and we'll go over Hypnosis. So Hypnosis attacks all enemies with 50% chance to put them to sleep for 1 turn. That remains the same, but now it also increases CR of the caster by 10% per sleep debuff inflicted. So if she gets 4 sleep, she gets 40% attack bar. That's nice. Nice little buff. Oh, she got it on all 3 skills. And then Endless Nightmare before attacks the enemy, stuns for 1 turn. So single target stun. When the enemy is asleep, defense breaks. So if they have the sleep from the turn before, they defense break, which is nice for the fact that she gets the attack bar because she can sleep them and then cut them and land the stun. Or sorry, and land the defense break. And deals additional damage according to max HP. Soulburn 10 increases damage. Now, the skill is the same, but except the additional damage is comparable to the target's max HP. 30% of the target's max HP. So that's interesting. This could be more of like a tank buster. It's not a lot, but 30%. And then this ignores res now with 20 souls instead of... Did they buff her damage by chance? Doesn't say anything about her damage being buffed. So she's going to lose a little bit of damage if you were burning into that, but the fact that you can ignore res and guaranteed land the sleep is nice. And then has 50% chance to decrease speed of the enemy for 2 turns, 80% chance now for 2 turns. That's kind of nice. That's a nice little buff for her for a specialty change unit. Maybe she'll end up getting used now. I'm okay with that. That's a nice buff. Like I said, we're going to skip the regular Pearl version. And here's Maya. So attacks with a shield, 100% chance to stun for 1 turn. This looks like she's getting a decent buff because she is getting 2 buffs here. It's 100% chance to stun for 1 turn. Damage based on defense. Now she also will, after the chance to stun, she will decrease CR by 30%. So it's kind of like a Crow, a mini Crow S2 except there's no defense buff. It's a stun instead of a defense buff, but that's nice. I like it. Smaller percentage, but 30% is still significant. You can mess up their turn order. Morale boost, 50% chance to provoke and decrease attack of all enemies for 1 turn. So this goes up to 75% before a 100% chance to decrease attack for 2 turns. So 1 turn provoke, 2 turn attack break. I mean, 75% chance is the big buff there, and it's reduced cooldown, which is nice. Oh wait, that was the non-awakened version. 1 turn before 100% chance. Oh, it's the same thing. Yeah. Wait, 75% chance for 1 turn. Before 100% chance to decrease attack for 2 turns. Increases defense of the caster. Oh, okay. Increases defense of all allies for 2 turns. Okay. So the skill is still the same. The buff is in the normal version, but all right. I mean, that's a nice skill. I still don't know if anyone will build her, but I think she's decent now. If you wanted to use her, you definitely could. Landy. All right. Landy Buffs. Let's see what we got here. So my main issue with Landy is, before I even get into it, is I always thought that, yeah, she needs to be really tanky, but if she's tanky, she can't do damage. And then if you build her to do damage, she's just going to die. So her gear requirements are just like through the roof too high for her to be good. Her kit's not bad, but it didn't make any sense. It was impossible to get her gear good enough. So let's see what they did here. Fires of the enemy increases caster's CR by 15%. Effect is doubled when the enemy is buffed. So for starters, before we even go on, the fact that they feel the need to buff all 3 skills when they buff a unit, I think is a little excessive. Like, I'm worried about this being an overbuff as it is. Well, you don't have to buff all 3 skills. You can just give people small buffs and then test it. Like, that is a thing. I know that makes too much sense. But, well, anyway. Fires the enemy increases caster CR by 15%. CR increase and amount of fighting spirit gained are doubled when the enemy is buffed. Damage dealt will be increased. So she's going to get a damage buff on skill 1. I thought her skill 1 damage was already quite good, to be honest. But also gains fighting spirit faster, which is important for her. But that's fine. Increases casters attack by 10% after attacking. Can stack up to 5 times. The start of turn gains 10 fighting spirit for each buff granted on the enemy. And when fighting spirit is full, resets skill cooldown. Starts with 50 fighting spirit. Now, increases caster's attack by 20%, so it's doubled after attacking, can stack up to 3 times. So basically, you can go up to 60% instead of up to 50%, but it's going to stack much faster. So if you're going to face her, you are going to have to go after her much faster than you normally would. You can't ignore her and wait for her to get stacks because that damage is going to stack really fast. She's up to 40% in 2 turns instead of 50 in 4 turns, or in 5 turns. And then finally, let's go into her Awakened version. Fires at all enemies, grants the caster increased speed for 2 turns. That is now all allies. So she's an AoE speed buff. AoE speed buff is that's scary as it is. Let's keep going though. When fighting spirit is full, consumes all fighting spirit to increase damage dealt and increase CR. Can't trigger counter. Now, before increasing their own CR by 15%, before increasing their CR by 15%, when fighting spirit is full, consumes all energy to penetrate target defense by 50%. So no longer a CR boost, right? No longer a CR boost, but ignores defense by 20%. 50%, sorry. AoE ignores defense by 50%. That is a huge buff. We're going to have to test her damage. I can't tell you how much damage that's going to do. I have no idea. But she now grants AoE speed buff to your entire team. She stacks faster, and she has AoE ignore defense. Now, her burn is 20 souls instead of 10, which is important. This would be totally busted at 10 souls, because she can do this skill every single turn. This doesn't really solve her squishiness versus tankiness problem, but it is a huge buff to damage, especially if she does it a couple of times. You're basically dead. So I'm curious what they say here. Supports allies, even fighting spear is not max level. In addition, to also grant 50% defense penetration. Just like throwing it in there. Oh wait. Oh, sorry. Okay, hold on. I misread this. So Soulburn grants an extra turn. You won't be able to do this twice in a row, but Soulburn does grant extra turn, which could potentially be important. Like maybe you could even kill an RB with that if you went skill 3 into skill 1. If you were trying to cleave and there was an RB there. So similar to like a BBK. You do lose a lot of increased damage from this. This increased damage Soulburn no longer exists, but you get the penetrate defense, which is going to be greater than what it was before. So you don't have to burn now to get, and you'll get more damage without burning than you did before with burning. So that's significant. But then also being able to burn in an extra turn is a nice little buff. This part's a nice little buff. This ignore defense is insane. And the fact that it stacks faster is big, and AoE speed buff is big. But we'll have to see. That's a lot on one kit. I think it's a good buff. I don't think she needs anything else. I think she'll be good now. Up next, Cerese. I can't believe they're buffing Cerese. Cerese is so good. All 3 skills too. Really? Do you know how strong this is? This skill 1 already she's like busted. This skill 1 is crazy already. Triggers attack from a random ally when her skill 3 is on cooldown. So she can't do it turn 1. She needs to do her skill 3 first. But like depending on who's on your team, like what happens if someone's trying to cleave? Say you're trying to cleave someone and they bring Cerese. Cerese uses skill 3 and then goes all the way back around to her skill 1. Skill 1's and teams up with like Spectre and destroys your entire cleave. Cerese super strong against cleave now. That is crazy. Because your slow units don't even have to get a turn. It could team up with a Dizzy and AoE stun you. It could team up with a Spectre. It could team up with an Arby. Like, it could team up with anybody. That that's scary, and it's guaranteed. I don't know how I feel about that. I almost hope there's a nerf in the rest of the kit, but given that there's green throughout, I doubt it. That's gonna happen. Explodes a magical sphere, stunning for one turn before increasing caster's CR by 50%. Stunning for one turn still. Making unable to be buff block for 2 turns. And CR pushes herself still. So she's adding buff block to the stun. 2-turn buff block is nice. Eh, eh. I I don't think that's that big of a deal. It's nice they gave her something, I guess. But this is what I mean by not having to buff every skill. Like, this isn't really a big deal. If she doesn't land the stun, she doesn't do anything. So, all right. Ooh. Oh man. Attacks all enemies with a Raging Froststorm, decreasing buff durations by 1 turn before 100% chance to decrease speed and restrict for 2 turns. Grants caster invincibility for 1 turn, and now always has elemental advantage. So that means you can't counter her with nature units anymore. Because that was a big thing. If say you're trying to Litica cleave with Sedum, and the enemy picks Oxlots, and then you take Cerese as your second Sedum booster, and they took 2 nature units and banned your Litica, you were kind of screwed. Now, doesn't matter. She's not gonna miss on anybody except for people that have evasion, but she won't miss into nature units anymore. That's scary. So good against all nature units now. I like that actually. As much as I don't like, I don't use. Mine's currently ungeared. She'll be getting gear again when this activates. But man, that's really good. That's really strong. I don't care about this middle one. This dual attack is super scary, and this is really really good now. It was already really really good, but it's now like no element disadvantage is significant. I want to leave LQC for last because first of all, waifu. Second of all, I think she's kind of OP already. Um, so let's look at Sage Ball. I already told you guys what I thought they should do, and we can already tell that I'm wrong because he's buffed all 3 skills. Um, funny enough, I had a big fight with him today. He got his turn, and because he has such a low chance of sleeping, he missed on the 2 most important units. Um, we'll see what they did to his kit though. His skill 1, currently 75% chance to sleep for 1 turn. It doesn't trigger a dual attack. It doesn't land anyway, so it doesn't matter. The fact that it doesn't trigger dual attack is actually good because it means people don't get woken up after they sleep. So still has the chance to sleep when the target is asleep after the attack increases caster CR by 20%. Ooh, that's interesting. Still doesn't trigger dual. Um, so that just means he can cycle a lot faster. If he lands, similar to Fire Tenebria, where she gets 50% attack bar, if she lands asleep and can get back into her skills faster, that 20% scary. It doesn't make him better on defense with that skill, but in terms of cycling and getting more turns and being like a counter to cleaves and stuff, that's nice. 100% chance to strip with an 85% chance to sleep now instead of 80. Is 5% enough? I think a lot of people are going to say no. But this is another, we feel like we need to give all 3 skills a buff, so there's a buff for your skill 3. Yeah. And then, sorry, skill 2. Skill 2. That's the strip into sleep, by the way. Now, his skill 3 is where a lot of people saw the issue. So currently, attacks with an evil eye, recovering the caster to max HP when an enemy is defeated. Damage dealt increases proportional to caster's lost HP, similar to like Crow. I actually don't mind this skill all this much, but let's see what they changed it to first. When the enemy is defeated, silences all remaining enemies, so like Kali, for 1 turn before recovering caster to max HP, penetrates defense, but can't crit. That's strong. I like that. That is better than what I thought what they were going to do. That's really good. Damage dealt increases proportional to caster's lost HP. So still the same. He has to be damaged. So funny enough, this exact situation happened in an RTA fight tonight. I went into a fight. I was about 50% HP, and I tacked into somebody. I needed about 3k damage to kill, and then I would have full healed. Unfortunately, I didn't crit. I don't have him built on crit rate. He's built tanky, but he didn't crit and just barely didn't kill, which means I didn't get the heal. Now I don't have to crit because it fully ignores defense. So that's basically a crit. That's really nice. That's like Crow now, really. It's not obviously going to do the same kind of Crow damage, but that's really good. I might even. I like my Sage gear, but I might even make him a little bit better after this. I don't really care about the first 2 buffs, to be honest. The chance to sleep being 80, like an extra 5%, I'll take it. But that's really good. Being able to guaranteed get damage now without having to worry about whether or not you're going to crit. He can also reduce his own cooldowns with his burn. It's reduce all skill cooldowns, not just this one. Because reducing this one before when nobody used the skill was wasted. But you could reduce the skill cooldown of skill 2 if you use it right away. So that's kind of nice. But yeah, I just like that skill 3. I don't really care about the rest of it, but the skill 3 is really good. I've definitely improved to now penetrate defense, allowing him to inflict more damage. If the enemy's been eliminated, yeah. Okay, so it's I like it. That's a nice buff. Good job. Now I can't believe they're buffing her. I'm in shock that they're buffing her, and they're buffing. Oh no, they're only buffing 2. Okay. Okay. Oh, hold on. So they're buffing both skills, both of which I think are good. They're buffing her skill 1 damage, which is nice. They didn't say how much they're buffing it by, but they're just buffing her skill 1 damage. Cool. Small, tiny little buff, but I'll take it. Her skill 3 is crazy. It ignores defense already, with enormous damage on dark units. Now, hold on, let's actually read it because this looks like they've changed everything. Smashes the enemy with sword attacks, penetrate defense by 50%, deals increased damage against dark elemental heroes, recovers HP proportional to damage dealt, smashes sword, recovering HP, penetrates defense by 50%. When the target is a dark elemental hero, increases damage dealt and inflicts additional damage to all enemies except for the target proportional to caster's attack. So this is like a drink proc? Increases damage dealt. Against dark heroes, but also drink procs. We're gonna have to see what kind of damage that does. That's interesting. That's because that's not. I was worried that for a second that was AoE, but it's not. So it's like that AoE won't give SSB 4 stacks. It'll only give SSB 1 stack, but it'll still do additional damage to everybody. You could use this like you could chunk down. I mean, obviously it's gonna be difficult, but you could chunk down a lot of units with this that like maybe with have evasion, maybe Rylet. You could get free damage against Rylet by attacking an FCC early. That's kind of big. Or you could potentially get good damage. Say you bring her into a Spectre and you skill 3. The Spectre is going to get splash damage. That's interesting. We're going to have to wait and see how that plays out in game. How much damage that works out to be. Inflict additional damage. It just says I'm worried about this, that this could end up being an attack, but it does say it just inflicts the damage. It doesn't say it attacks them. So hopefully it's just inflicts it and it doesn't attack them, because if it attacks them, then you are going to get countered, right? You don't want to, like, one of the main units I would bring her into would be a Dizzy, because she has immunity on skill 1. I wouldn't want to, for example, hit an FCC and get countered by a Dizzy. That would not be cool. But hopefully it's just inflict damage, and that's it is the way it reads. Anyway, guys, that is it for this balance patch. Really interesting balance patch. Does it fix any balance issues that are currently in the game? I don't think so. I think some of the artifacts really need balancing, but everything that got buffed got nice little buffs, and I don't think anything's busted except for uh, maybe Landy. We'll have to see how Landy's damage translates. But I don't think that's too much on LQC unless her splash damage is now insane. But I think it makes all of them good, and I like the Guiding Light buff. I like the Bastion buff. I'm pretty happy about that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I don't normally do 2 in a day, but I thought this was really important. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and now I can tell people to go watch the video and then ask my opinion. Otherwise, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you all next time. Thanks so much for watching, and bye for now.